Hey guys, it's Kristen with ICStarsQuilting.com. Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today I am coming to you from the beautiful Texas Hill Country. My parents recently just bought a vacation home out here for our family, so we are spending the whole week up here. We're moving into the house, moving furniture, hanging up pictures, getting everything settled and getting it ready and beautiful. So that's what we're doing today. I'm away from my normal desk and sewing area and space, but the kids had the week off of school, so we all came up here to pitch in and help out. I thought I'd do a video this week answering some of the most popular questions that I get into my inbox every single week. As always, you're welcome to email me. You can visit my website. I'll put the link right down here, or I'll put a link up here for you too. You can visit my website. You can hit the contact form. Always email me any questions you have. I'm happy to help. Quilting questions, especially. If you just want to ask some random questions, I'm happy to answer some of those too. But if you have any quilting questions or things that you're struggling with, feel free to email me. I'm happy to help, or like do a tutorial or something that can help you. That's what I'm here to do. I am your girl. You can email me if you have any questions. So, there's some really big bugs. Okay, one of the most popular questions that I get is, how long have you been quilting? My daughter is, she just turned 13, so I've been quilting for about 12 years now. And I've been sewing for longer. Prior to that, I was sewing like small around the house projects, nothing really big. But, and then I had an idea of how to sew quilts, but I had never attempted it. So I've been sewing quilts for about 12 years now. What is the largest quilt that you have made? I've made up to a queen size. I have not dove into a king size yet, but I do have a king size in my bedroom, and I would one day really like to sew a big giant king size quilt for that bed, but I have not gotten in there yet. I haven't found a pattern that I truly love for that one. The size that I most often quilt is going to be a throw quilt. That's just kind of what I'm drawn to. I also like baby size quilts, but I like to be able for grown-ups to use them and people who appreciate them, so I will probably navigate towards and be drawn towards a throw size quilt the most often. How old are your kids? So my kids they're not quite as little as they were when I started quilting. My oldest just turned 13, and then my youngest just turned, well, he didn't just turn 10, he turned 10 like back in the summertime. So 10 and 13 is what they are right now. What are your dogs' names? Everybody loves dog pictures. So these are my two dogs. They are about 2 years old now. They are brothers. They're from the same litter, even though they look like polar opposites of each other. Their names are Butters and Vader, and they're super cute. They're adorable. They're really fun, and they keep us very well entertained. They also absolutely adore any scrap of fabric that is on the floor in my sewing room. So they will take it and they'll run it through the rest of the house, and it's pretty much gone. So I really have to keep up with what's in my sewing room and like keep all the scraps off of the floor. How often do you go through and clean your sewing room? This one varies. It depends on how busy I am that week, but typically I would say that I go in and I clean my sewing room at least every couple days or so. I'll kind of do like a quick sweep through, just because I do sew in little bitty spurts throughout the week. I don't tend to sew in like big long stretches. So if I only have like, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes or so before dinner comes out of the oven, I'll run in there and I'll sew until the timer goes off, and then I'll just leave my mess as is, and then I'll go back and I'll get dinner taken care of. So I normally leave a mess. I know you shouldn't leave a mess. You should clean up your space and all that, but I normally leave a mess. So I will go in and I will, maybe 2 or 3 passes a week, I'll just kind of straighten things up, and then maybe once or twice a month, I'll actually go and I'll do like a really good clean and like vacuum the floors, make sure the threads and the stuff are picked up. All right, what is my favorite part of quilting? And I think I really like the inspiration phase. I like to, the beginning phase of a quilt, I like to go in and decide like, okay, what am I going to theme this quilt as? What fabric am I going to pick out? What pattern am I going to pick out? I really love the design part of it. And I also love piecing, but that can sometimes get monotonous. So I really like the very beginning and then the very end of a project, which I don't think is too uncommon. I think a lot of people would agree that like the beginning phase and then the very, very end, when you sew that last stitch and you're like standing back looking at it going, wow, I did a really, really good job on this quilt. That I think is my two favorite parts. I think my least favorite part has got to be basting the quilt, making sure everything is smoothed out. That seems to take me the longest out of all the steps, is making sure everything's smoothed out, whether I'm using spray based or I'm using like pins to tack everything together. I always worry that like I don't have everything perfect, and that's really important in that step, is you want to make sure that everything is nice and smooth. So I think that's my least favorite part. By the way, I would love to know what your least favorite parts are and what your favorite parts are too. So go ahead and add those to the comments below. I would love to hear your take on that. If you agree with me, if you have other favorite parts and other, not so favorite parts. I know the binding is a really hard step for a lot of people because it's like that last final push when you have already mentally decided you're done with the quilt. So let me know what your favorite parts are and what your least favorite parts are. How did I learn to quilt? So I'm kind of a self-taught quilter, and I say kind of because I did piece together my education from like different YouTube videos. I would talk to different quilters that I happened to like pass by in the fabric store. Like, no joke, I would go up to a person in the fabric store and be like, do you quilt? Do you know how to do this step? Who taught you how to quilt? How can I learn this? Because I want to learn this, but like I was finding like the books and things that I was looking through were like ancient, and they weren't really good tutorials. So I really pieced together my education, and I think a lot of people do that as well. They don't necessarily learn from one teacher, but they learn from lots of them. So it took me probably a good 4 or 5 years before I really felt like totally confident in all of my steps and what I was doing. And that was 4 or 5 years of like having tiny toddlers around and very little sewing time. So, getting all of the steps down and feeling confident in each one and what I was doing and what tools I was using as well to kind of go through and figure out which ones I like, which ones I didn't. There's no right way to quilt. There's no wrong way to quilt. You just have to figure out what works for you. And it took me quite a while to figure out what worked for me. What sewing machine do you sew on? So first of all, I started on like just a Singer straight from the Walmart shelves, very simple starter machine. And then later on, I upgraded to a Janome 360 QDC, and I love that machine. I will never give up that machine. It's a really, really, really good machine. I think I've talked about that machine a lot before, and I'll put a link down below too, because you can still get that one on Amazon, and it's a really, really good, let's say, upgrade to just your standard sewing machine. It's a really, really good upgrade if you want to get into quilting, but you're not really ready to like bite the bullet and buy like a super expensive machine. It's a good like mid-level machine. And just recently, which I still have to do a video on it. I haven't done the full video on it yet because I wanted to play with it some more, but I actually now have a Janome Horizons 15,000, and it is a gorgeous machine. I love it to death. I'm going to do a video on this one because I want to show you the different features that it has and why I chose it and why I love it. But it is a gorgeous machine, and that's what I have to sew on now. I also recently, which haven't shared this yet either, but I also recently purchased a long arm machine, and it is, it's a good one. It's beautiful, but I'm still working on learning my way around that machine. It's got a lot of different things to keep an eye on while you're sewing. So I have that machine as well, but I'm not quite ready to show you everything on that machine yet. It'll come. I'll show you some tutorials and some behind the scenes stuff that I'm working on that. But that machine's a beast. It's really, really big. So I will get to that later. But as far as like starter, middle, best, those are good, better, best, however you want to say it. That's kind of what my journey has been. I really, really love the Janome brand just because they're very easy to use. They seem very intuitive to how I would choose. I know some people are very much attached to Bernina, or they're very much attached to other sewing machine brands. You just have to figure out what works for you. And then last but not least, I get questions about the classes that I teach, the retreats that I have, and all of the fun things that Icy Stars Quilting is doing. So I just finished a good retreat in September. I have a small workshop retreat coming up on November 6th. I'm gonna leave the link down below to that right here, or I'm gonna put the link up here where you can sign up for that retreat. It's gonna be so much fun. It's just a one-day retreat. There's gonna be tutorials, there's gonna be a live party. I'm gonna have prizes and things to give away. You're not gonna wanna miss this. This is going to get you in the groove for the holidays, okay? This is gonna help you get organized. So if you sign up for this retreat, I'm gonna help you get everything organized. We're gonna look at things, figure out a doable plan, because that's really important. You can't decide to make 15 quilts before December 25th, right? It's not gonna happen. You're gonna wish that you hadn't made that decision. So signing up for this retreat is gonna help you do that. We're gonna have so much fun. I love, love, love these retreats. As far as a full weekend retreat, I'm probably looking at maybe January or February for that, but I will keep you in the loop for that. If you sign up for my email list, you can go to my website, and right across the very top of there is a bar that you can sign up for to stay in the loop. As far as classes go, Modern Quilting Made Easy is closed right now. I've had a lot of people asking for that. It gets too busy for me right around the holidays, but I am looking at opening that up again in January. So if you want to make sure that you get into that class, because that is a really popular class, it's so much fun. We have a really, really great time in there. And that is the class where I go over 8 weeks. We make an entire quilt together from start to finish. It's so great. You have a support system the entire way. You have me the entire way. And we go step by step. And I have seen the most gorgeous quilts come from first-time quilters out of that retreat. So that I'm looking at starting in January probably. Possibly February. I'm still trying to get my calendar lined up, but I will let you know as soon as I figure it out. So I hope that that answers kind of some of the most popular questions, maybe some of those questions that you had. If there's anything that you would like to know that I didn't answer, feel free to drop it in the comments down below. I'm happy to get back with you. I answer all those comments down there as soon as I get a chance, and fingers crossed there's decent internet out here in the hill country. I hope that you have a wonderful day. I have stolen this few minutes here to work on this video, but I got to get back to unpacking. So I will see you next week on my YouTube channel. I'll be back home. I will be back in my normal sewing room, and hopefully coming at you with a new video. I'm Kristen with IcyStarsQuilting.com. I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.